So, in some cases, we're having a conversation about the glory days of the fact that more Turtles merch is being made than ever before in every stripe and every variety and showing everything and finding that unique part to live within the Turtles universe, is work.
Yeah.
It's great and it's awesome. But that's because there's been so much uplift in Turtles. And then on the flip side, when you go over to G.I. Joe, it's like Classified is killing it and doing great. We've been doing a wonderful job in reaction, if I do say so myself. There's a lot of people that don't like reaction. They don't understand why anybody would buy this crap. But it's because it's not for them. And that's fine. It's like, it's because there's not enough stuff being made for G.I. Joe to satiate their demand to where they can understand that something being made might not be for them. So getting that opportunity to start making more Joe, because there's more fans out there that want something different than what's being offered to them, is a huge opportunity. And it isn't one of those where I have to go find that deep, dark corner or that unique spin that hasn't been done, where instead you can come back and go, there's very obvious things that you need, and I can bring those to you. And I think, that's for that group, like it's so funny to me because, you'll see the comments and be like, yeah, well, that's why no one buys reaction. It's like, we're on, the third year of reaction. It's still sitting on peg. And they're like, well, it's always on clearance. It's like, Target wouldn't keep buying it if it wasn't selling. Yeah. There's a customer for it. I realize it is not you. And the reason it makes you mad is because it's not the thing you want. And you're wasting my time because I want to buy G.I. Joe and you're not giving me the G.I. Joe I want to buy. And this is all garbage. And it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to give you the thing that you've been looking for. It's like, and then it's like, if you're getting that, if you're that O-ring guy and you're getting O-ring G.I. Joes, then you're like, yeah, I guess if you like that reaction stuff, great, because you're happy.
Yeah.
You're upset that you can't get what you want and somebody else is making something else, then it's all lame. And it's like, oh my God, you guys. But I'm on a tangent, but coming backwards, it's just like, yes, like we know that people want this, and I want to be able to bring you what you want. Yeah. So to finally be able to do that with G.I. Joe, I say finally on my side, because they've done some on their side, and come to market with more items more often, and really start giving that O-ring collector something new to look forward to is super exciting.
Yeah. Well, and for a lot of the different licenses and properties that you have several different, form factors or whatever you want to call them. It's like Transformers, you have Reaction, Ultimates, and then you do the Super Shogun type thing. Ninja Turtles has a lot of things. So this really adds another, as you were saying, another piece in addition to the Reaction and the Ultimates and now O-ring. But that said, Ultimates are a different scale, kind of their own thing. How, from a planning perspective, are you going to keep O-ring and Reaction in terms of like character choices and things like that completely separate from each other, or are they going to become complementary and work hand in hand if you want them to?
I think they're sort of different. Obviously, we're a couple years in on Reaction, so there's definitely some characters and things that we're going to do over there that haven't been made for that collector, but we're not going to go back and just replay the same characters we made Reaction in O-ring. We've got a whole new sort of line plan for, okay, where can we go with O-ring that fan base, that customer, if you will, has never had, but also builds upon and extends from where we've been with Reaction. So there's some stuff that we've done, like I'll use some example though. It's like that O-ring customer does not need me to make Destro again.
Yeah,
they've got Destro. I don't need Destro again. Don't make him for me. I don't need a Black Snake Eyes. I've already got a Black Snake Eyes. Show me something that I don't have, and that's really where we're focusing on, is that
G.I. Joe the movie chuckles right there. I mean, right there, never been done. There you go.
There's some very. I think I'll put it this way: we've got 2 years worth of releases scripted out already. And it was very easy to fill 2 years worth of
Yeah.
slots. It was more actually like trimming.
Yeah.
Uh, there's so much good stuff out there. And there's so many cool characters. There's so many other things. Obviously, I can't say, yes, we're looking at that, or no, we're not looking at that. But, it's going to come out September, October of 2024, right around the same time the mothership will be landing.
Mm.
And, I'm sure that, we're just sorting it all out right now. I'm sure that if it's landing in September or October, it's going to get leaked, or, or somebody's going to find out the line list through Target or back end in stock warehouse, or it's going to be
amazing.
it's going to be pre-booked at Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store or something. Like, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in detail before then.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some really, really cool figures in there, and there's some obvious stuff, no different than you can go, I need this, and this.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of that stuff where it's like, here it is. Like, it's not that hard to figure out what are the big ones that haven't been done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. And like you said, for something like Turtles that has been, in the last 10 years, or even maybe even a little less than that, there's just been so much of it. It's good to see, something like Joe's really come into the same space and have a variety of different, scales, just executions in terms of, cartoon or otherwise or whatnot. So, but O-ring is it's the thing. It's the Joe thing.
It's the
So
Joe format, and I'll take this way back to when we were doing masters, and people would get all up in arms that we were. I remember being at PowerCon, and when it wasn't before Anaheim, where it was
in Torrance.
in Torrance. There we
Yeah.
go, in Torrance, and having a panel, and there's all these people, and talking to them, and they were like, I don't understand why you're making Japanese vinyl. I don't understand, making reaction, these suck, and I want this. And it was like, you don't understand, like, everybody is coming from a different perspective. Once they realized that, and I think at that point we're announcing that we were going to make some of the 5-inch figure line extensions and stuff like that. It's like, once there was enough to go around, people no longer felt like they were not being listened to, for lack of a better description. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's not for me, but I'm happy for that guy to get it, because I'm getting mine. And I feel like that's really the space that we're entering with G.I. Joe, is starting that whole conversation over again, which is, once everybody's getting what they're looking for and feel like they're being heard,
they be more inclusive.
Then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't really like reaction, but I understand why my friend Bill loves it, or and it is very much that. I think that once that happens, you're going to get a lot less. The negativity always is that person feeling like no one's paying attention to them or valuing them. And it's not that we don't value you. It's just, I couldn't make that before. So now I'm going to make it.
Well, 2024, reaction, Ultimates, Mothership, O-ring. It's going to be a big Joe year next
There's a
year.
lot of Joe out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Come on. And we're all going to be at Joe Fest down in Augusta, Georgia. So you should come to Joe Fest and hang out with us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Going down there. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing, how that continues to move along, and how, Ultimates also continues to move along, just like everything else next year. But before we kind of talk about next year, there's still a couple of weeks left in 2023, and I'm going to bet, having had these conversations and knowing you for a bit now, that there's probably going to be still at least a couple more surprises between now and the end of the year, right?
I don't think there's any big surprises. I think we've kind of pulled back on the December surprises, because generally people are like, yo, it's December, okay?
Yeah.
There's one more figure there is another pre-order that hasn't been talked about in December. It's a single figure.
Mm.
You will get your party wagon.
Yeah.
So there is an ultimate coming. Dun 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 dun.